Hey guys, this is Hell Hades. This is a Raid Shadow Legends video. Guys, it's coming towards Halloween, and what I wanted to do actually was to look at the previous Halloween fusions and champions that have been released and just kind of like talk about it. Will we get excited for Halloween this year? Raid, at the same point, I've just dropped this little snippet, so I figured we'd check this out first. I'm guessing they're going to dress the Bastion, which I'm pretty sure for a few years they didn't even do. Here comes the pumpkins. Nice. Oh, madame, just chilling. I like it. Signal to Harvest Jack. Oh, this is more like it, Ray. Good job. Harvest Jack was actually in the Guardian ring there. Cool. Good effort. Good effort. Okay, looking forward to that. So, let's get Raid up and just talk about what have they done in the past. You know, is this a time of year that we should be excited about a fusion or not? Or is it a time of year where it's like, we're due something cool? I must admit, when I first looked at this generally, like Halloween, in my head, I was like, oh, surely Rotas was a Halloween fusion. Turns out it wasn't. Surely, who else was the one that was in my head? Brackus? I think Brackus was like one. Turns out he wasn't. Like there's a few which was just like in my head. They were definitely Halloween fusions, but they just weren't. I've just got like Halloween theming. But if we look at some of the champs that have come out around this time of year, visually, some of my favorite champions in the game. So at the time when he came out, Miscreated Monster was an absolute beast and super fun, super cool, great visual of the kind of like Frankenstein's monster here. We've had Madame, where's she hide? In here. Madame, who we just saw there on that kind of like Bastion shot. Again, cool visuals. The VFX here just popping off. Really, really well done. She's got that kind of like gym bod going on. Good work. Who else do we have? Oh, probably my favorite visual in the game, honestly. Because of the quirkiness of it. It's so well done. Like it's just so well done. I actually love this skin and this model. It's brilliant. It's like artistic genius, this is. Definitely my favorite Raid model. It's so well done with the like pumping heart in there. Just brilliant. So yeah, so we've had some great Halloween champs like released over the time. But when I was really looking into it, I was like, right, okay, so who have the fusions been? And were they any good? So the first one I've got here is Harvest Jack in 2019. You might not know this, or you might know it now. You've got the skulls or the heads here of the 4 starter heroes. See this? Very cool, actually. This is a great touch as well in terms of design. Visually, this guy looks totally sweet. Yeah, we can't argue it. He looks totally sweet. And when he came out as a fusion, I used him a decent amount, but only really because I was like trying to force him to work. And I think he's well overdue a buff, like at least for his damage. But yeah, this guy is one of those ones that came out and has never really found his place in any content. Which is kind of weird because he's got block buffs for all enemies, which is a great skill. He's able to remove some powerful buffs from the enemies. Like I put him to work, but he's very like situational in terms of his ability to work. He's got true fears. He's got decreased speeds. Like he's basically an arena champion, but he doesn't bring any arena damage. He is annoying. Like he's annoying to face for sure. Block buffs is a very annoying skill. Ability to just decrease duration of buffs when he's hitting them with the A1. He's got a triple hit. Ability to steal buffs is annoying, but he never gets any playtime at all. So I'd say the first Halloween fusion that I can remember, this guy is like a, 2 out of 10 for actual playability versus other legendaries. So he's failed. The next one up, I mean, it doesn't get any better, guys. Like, so Elegaeus is the next one. Again, cool visual. Not sure what they're thinking with the tongue, really, but there you go. He's obviously like, he's had his tongue frozen to something and he's just stretched it so much trying to get it off. Anyway, Elegaeus, again, pretty unplayable as a champ. Like, nothing really going on with this guy that is worthwhile. Another, like, you know, unplayable. He's unplayable versus legendaries. In fact, even if he's your first legendary, normally I'm like, look, when I'm comparing legendary versus legendary, there's a certain level of quality that you're comparing against. But normally, it's like, yeah, but if he's your only legendary, he's probably still going to carry you in the game. That's what normally happens. This guy's not like that. And honestly, Harvest Jack's not really like that either. They're both very mediocre and kind of like baits. They would be baits for your resources if you were to like level them out and max them out as your first legendary. So Elegaeus did not kick it at all and has never been good enough. I think he might have even had a buff, but still never been good enough. Not sure if he has actually. So we then got this kind of like Vlad and Constantine drop the next year. So 2021, Vlad in the Sacred Order as a Void legendary. I think he may have been a fusion since, or definitely been a guaranteed since, if not. And these two were a pairing, but only one of them, obviously the legendary. And the legendary that you could get was Vlad. So Void legendary, very unusual to give us a Void. When he came out, very mediocre. Vlad was mediocre and Constantine was more powerful. So out of the two, Constantine was the one you kind of wanted. Vlad enabled Constantine to a certain degree. So, you know, there was elements of them being able to work. This guy, when he came out, was okay, but he's been buffed and he's now good. Okay, so this is, again, one of these examples of if you miss a fusion today and then they buff them down the line, damn, you might have missed out. This guy is definitely now, you've missed out. He's decent now. So he's got Destroy Max HP here, AoE Leech, and then he's also got Steal turn meter from any of these other factions, or decrease turn meter if they're not in those factions. But the stealing turn meter is kind of busted because it means he just gets another turn if you've got a few from the Bannerlord, Sacred Order, or High Elf here, which is quite cool. He's then got this AoE. This is the improved skill, really. It hits quite hard. 100% of putting drop defense and block active skills. So you're locking out the enemy for 2 turns. This is one of the best ways to deal with mythical champs. Okay, if you just use like a Warlord or a Yumiko and locking out your skills, it doesn't lock out their metamorph. Okay, so all they do is they're just like, oh, whatever, I'm just going to change form and have a whole group of skills ready to go. This blocks the metamorph. So actually, he's grown in value a ton since he was released. For stuff like Siege, where, you know, mythical champions are more prevalent, I guess, this skill is extremely strong. And he puts perfect value on himself, and it hits hard. So pretty cool. And then he's got Revive on Death on this champion for 2 turns every time he kills someone, which is cool. He also does a full heal and fills his turn meter if Constantine's around as well. So even if he's not around, you still get like a 50% heal and turn meter fill, which is very good. Like, his kit now is decent. So yeah, when it was released, pretty trashy, but now actually, you know, in that kind of like mid to upper group of legendaries. We then got another, I think they pretty much always fill this faction up. Yeah, I didn't do this one, Morrigan. Again, great visual on this champ. Look at this. It's actually a brilliant visual. Like, you have to hand it to Raid. Their artwork is fantastic. So good. It's the subtleties, right? Because obviously she's drowned underwater, she's sunk. So the speed that everything is moving here, it's just such good work. So yeah, Morrigan, again, when I didn't do it, so instantly, you know, I thought she was kind of mid to low when she came out, and her kit wasn't really relevant anywhere. So decreased speed, 75% chance of stealing buffs from one enemy, and then a 100% chance of decreasing the turn meter of all enemies by 20%, and a fill for yours. This is a good skill. This is where she became strong, and it's actually when Amius joined the game. So at the start of a turn, puts heal reduction out there, which cannot be removed, transferred, or spread. So it's protected. Against Amius, this is OP. This is one of the best skills in the game. Amius didn't exist when she came out as a fusion. So again, when she arrived, very low quality for what content we had in the game. Now there's an area of the game that she excels in. She's still not great everywhere, but an area where she excels. So, yeah, again, like, if she was released now, I'd be like, yeah, damn, I will pick her up because Amius is really hard. And she is an answer to it for that rotation. So we've got one more then. And so far, I mean, you got to admit, when they came out so far, Jack, weak. Elideus, weak. Vlad, weak. Moradane, weak. So the last one then, for last year, again, I didn't do it. Timit. Timit the Fool. Again, visually very cool. So it's kind of jester vibe going on. I love his mallet. His mallet is actually awesome. It's really, really good. But yeah, like his kit for me was just very mid. Double hitter, AoE drop duration of buffs, kind of good. AoE increase accuracy on your allies, true fear on enemies. You get this kind of true fear coming out with most of these Halloween champs, and true fear is one of the weaker debuffs in the game for you to control. If it's coming at you, it's awful, but it's so hit and miss that it doesn't feel like it's worth having. But yeah, so the track record of fusions is honestly kind of weak. 5 out of 5 since I've been playing, when they were released, were weak champions. So I'm hoping, like, if you're someone who's in the stock market, what do you do? Do you follow the curve or whatever it is? You know, it's like, is that downward trend going to continue, or is it time for the up? Like, we've got to be due a badass Halloween fusion, haven't we? I feel like we've got to be due a really badass Halloween fusion. Like, they knock it out of the park visually every time. That's not the problem here. But we have not had on release a single good Halloween fusion. So I'm hoping that we get one that is absolutely badass. Raid, why don't you release your first ever mythical fusion for Halloween? How cool would that be? Everyone would be buzzing. Why didn't you do it? Anyway, let me know what you think. Are there any of those where you'd be like, damn, I actually think they were good? Also, are you surprised that Brackus, for example, was not a Halloween fusion? I thought in my head he definitely was. I also thought Rotus was, but it turns out Rotus was a Valentine's one. Brackus, look how cool this one is as well. Just for a second, imagine he doesn't have that purple stuff going on, and then he's good visually. But just add in the purple. Such a touch of genius. Anyway, that's going to be it for today. Let me know what you think down below, and I'll see you in the next one.